know skipping across the water at speed is phenomenal. Harnessing your power to make the boat go as fast as it can. Once it's in your blood, then it's history. You can't get rid of it.
My name is Godfrey, and I've been rowing all my life.
Bill is a very tenacious guy. He knows exactly what he wants. The thing that has always characterized his approach to life is the fact that he's prepared to set really challenging goals and he's prepared to work hard to achieve them.
My home club is Leander Rowing Club, but I've been lucky enough to row for London Rowing Club and compete at Henley. And I was also part of the South African national squad for a while. Unfortunately, I never got to the Olympics, but then I heard about the toughest rowing race in the world. The Atlantic rowing race starts in the Canary Islands in San Sebastian and finishes 5,000 kilometers away in Antigua in the Caribbean. The race was started by Che Blythe in 1997 on the back of his 1966 journey with John Ridgway. My first mission was to find the right partner, and true to form, I found him in the ocean.
Well, I'd met Bill a few times surfing. I actually didn't know him that well. A friend of mine paddled up with me to Bill and said, "Bill, this is Pete. Pete wants to paddle across from Madagascar to South Africa. Pete, this is Bill. Bill wants to row across the Atlantic." And I went, "Yeah, okay. That sounds like quite the deal."
Pete's strengths are the reason I approached him. I knew of him before I knew him. His reputation preceded him, and it was pretty big. Big adventure racer, extreme sportsman, ocean sailor, etc.
His strength in my book is his character to continue doing things and to hang in. He has a very placid nature and a very determined one. I think those were the right ingredients for this type of race.
Now that Bill and I have decided to do the race together, we need a fully committed team. And the most important part of that team for us will be our wives. They need to be 100% committed to us, and they need to know what they're letting themselves in for.
I remember my mother-in-law saying to me, "Well, we'll put that on the too hard to do list. But when somebody says don't do it, you're stupid, then I'm definitely going to do it." Kate, my wife, just supported me all the way right from the beginning.
So when Bill first told me about rowing across the Atlantic, my first thought was it was a really wonderful thing to do, and I wish I could do something like that. My second thought was, oh my God, he's going to be rowing across a large expanse of water. And then the third thing was, you know, he seems so normal. But it's really great that he has these wonderful ideas that, you know, most people wouldn't even dream of dreaming, let alone actually carrying out.
My dad's going to row across the Atlantic, and you must row fast so you can win a cup.
My one blade's going to be called Ben, and the other blade's going to be called Eddie. So every time I get on the oars, I'll have them right there with me.
I thought it was absolutely crazy, especially that Columbus had taken battle to get across in the sailing boat. I would say to understand it, you've got to realise where Bill's coming from. He's been rowing since grade 7, and it's been his passion all his life. And that I think that this is sort of compensates not having made the Olympic Games.
Our wives and our families and our immediate families and distant families are all really, really rooting for us, and it's great to have that. I mean, it's absolutely essential.
I completely and absolutely understand this need for adventure. I think it's a critical, incredibly important part of our life. I think men and women really need adventure. You know, I look around me at the people I work with, and I know more people who've died of boredom and regret at their desk than on an ocean. I think Peter is completely unprepared for how much he's going to miss his daughter. And me, but I think more his daughter. I think the reality of that is going to set in a couple of days into the race, and I think that will be the biggest psychological hurdle for him to get over.
The more I find out about Pete, the more I think he's definitely the right person. I mean, he can't row for shit, but hey.
The fact that he had to learn how to row Yeah, you could put that down as a weakness, but it's actually really minor. When the smallest part of rowing across an ocean is actually the rowing. I wouldn't want to go with anyone else. He's a solid citizen, and it'd be an honour to row across an ocean with him.
Our intention is to race this race. We're going to race it. I'm very excited about having Bill on board. Bill is a natural rower. He's rowed for the South African squad. And also, from what I've noticed about Bill, he's not scared. If it's horrible weather, he's out there training. He's a bit of a bull terrier. He's quite a tough guy. Well, we're hoping to win the race. Not hoping, we're planning to win the race.
Fortunately, I've got very understanding employers.
I can understand why he's doing it. He's a bit young to be going through a midlife crisis though, but I don't think that's the reason. It's something that he's always wanted to do, and it's a dream. He's really chasing his dream, which is fantastic.
Every gap I get at work, I tend to swing over to Atlantic Rowing Race and get things sorted out.
Hey Pete, I feel sorry for you, just having a look at what my desk looks like and having a look what Bill's desk looks like. I hope that he's going to have the cabin sorted out for you nicely.
I must have spent hundreds of hours on this phone to different people. We've got a lot of planning still to do before the race. Bill's been on the project for 3 years now. I've been with him for just over a year. It's been hectic just to get the project going. I mean, it's just been phenomenal. I had no idea that it would actually take so much. I don't think Bill had any idea either. I mean, in the last year, things have really heated up. We've got so much work to do to prepare ourselves.
We decided to bite the bullet and buy the boat. We felt that if potential sponsors saw our commitment, they'd take us more seriously. When I saw her, I knew that the game was on.
I was coincidentally in East London on the day that their boat arrived, and I met with both Peter and Bill, and I was very taken with them. The personal meeting of the two guys that really came to the fore, their down-to-earth nature, their approachability, their friendliness, and I think that there was something about them, their relaxation. They were inwardly focused but relaxed, and I think that gave us a great deal of confidence that any penny that we were going to invest in them was going to come back to us with positive returns.
Our boat is specifically designed for this race. It's a one design, so all the boats in the race are the same. It's a 7.1 meter by 1.9 meter boat. We had to take it for sea trials, and disaster struck. We hadn't even rowed 1 meter out the harbour, and a freak set came through. The wave broke over us, turned us right upside down. It was a very hairy situation because the following 4 or 5 waves took us right up onto the rock. And as the wave subsided, the boat came down on the rudder and snapped the rudder off the back. The next day, a reporter phoned us to find out whether we were still going to be taking part in the race after such a bad mishap. And we just laughed at him and gave him the date for our launch.
The launch of Guma Challenger.
We called her Guma Challenger. The name is steeped in local history and means the sound of a breaking wave or the roar of a lion in Xhosa.
Guma Challenger, South Africa's entry.
Of course, sponsorship is one thing. If the guys got hurt, or if the guys drowned or got lost at sea, you know, what happens then? It's a huge risk for everybody. People have to go out there and do these things. It's the excitement of life.
I think the problem with a race that is so long is that it's actually decided in the brain, not in the muscles. And so my advice to the guys would be that you have to understand that the outcome of the race will be, in fact, what you want it to be. So if you want this race to be a gentle race and go and enjoy yourself, that's fine. But if you want to be successful, you have to have the goal of winning. And that must be your stated goal, both in the training and in your racing.
I mean, Bill and I get on extremely well. We've got a good relationship, but I suppose like with any relationship, you are going to be tested. It's about solving conflict when it arises, and I think both of us need to look at ways to deal with things. I think at the moment there is so much stress around the organisation of this race, and it's putting us under a tremendous amount of pressure. So I suppose at the moment anything that could be slightly irritating is just exaggerated. This is our first time we've actually had a disagreement about anything. Bill, how's it going? I think one of the best ways to sort that conflict out, listen, I feel quite bad about, is to, instead of having conflict, provide solutions. So if there's a problem, always address what the solutions could be rather than what the problem actually is.
Time is running out, and we need to replace and install a lot of equipment. It was like juggling 20 different plates at the same time.
In order to comply with these regulations, we had to do the Royal Yachting Academy Yachtmaster Ocean course, we had to do a Survival at Sea course and First Aid at Sea course, as well as the VHF radio course. All of these were quite rigorous courses, and we spent quite a lot of time away from home doing them. But they were excellent, because what the organisers want to do is just make sure that we're able to handle any situation out at sea. If our instruments stop working, that we are able to use a sextant to navigate with.
My lifeboats are bigger than your ship.
If we get into a storm, then they need to know that we are able to survive out in the storm.
This is the last time we get into a life raft, that's for sure.
If I cut myself or need to have stitches or Bill needs to look after me as, medically, they need to know that that can happen.
It's a dangerous race. The boat could capsize, could get clubbed by a ship and sink. They won't even know you're there. You can fall overboard, you can fall on board and hurt yourself, break a rib. There's dehydration, exhaustion, and numerous other things to worry about.
Now you check those lights on top of the port control here.
Yeah.
Flashing orange and flashing
Yeah.
red. It means something. I can't remember what it means, but I think it means that there's a big ship coming in, man. And the red means it's dangerous. What?
There's a ship entering harbour, over.
Oh shit.
Okay, let's go. Row, Pete, row. It's gonna moor us.
Okay, let's go. We snug the wall. You go up close as you can to the wall. There's lots of movement here, man.
That's good, man. I'm loving it.
Yeah.
I didn't slow down for sweets.
You imagine that, eh? All they would have heard was clunk. And somebody would say, hey, there's people on a rowing boat.
Okay. Right, Pete. You don't have to dig it so deep. Just get it under the surface, make sure the spoon's covered, and then just lever it through.
Okay.
You want your hands to be in a comfortable position, or you can just draw.
Yes, nice one, Bill.
Sorry, yeah.
Flippin' heck. Gee, sorry.